This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We're rolling along. Thursday edition of Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network, alongside Jonathan Von Tobel, Stormy Buonantony with you, our producer Justin Emery at the controls, as we're coming to you live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino, home of the world's largest sports book. 1 hour into the program, and remember, if you missed anything, you can always get Money Moves wherever you download your podcast. Don't miss a minute of the program. Coming up at the end of this hour, we'll have our best bets. In 30 minutes, Jeff Erickson of RotoWire is going to stop by, give out some of his thoughts on Thursday night football, as well as the prop market for the weekend in week 11 of the National Football League. And we'll have a little Circa Contest talk, making our official 5 ATS picks for this weekend, which good for anybody out there just watching and listening, trying to figure out what sides they might want to lean on coming up this Sunday. Let's start with tonight, though, JVT. Jets-Patriots going head-to-head. Very big spread for a team in the New England Patriots that hasn't been a favorite like this in a few years now, laying 12.5, 13 here where we're broadcasting from, and a couple of the big books like BetMGM. Jets have been one of the worst teams in football. 0-7 to start the year, but have won back-to-back games now, catching a little bit of momentum and positive vibes despite trading off some pieces at the deadline. How do you see their chances this week?
Not great.
Okay.
No, I mean, look, I will go back to how we talked about this, which is I just don't know how I'm supposed to trust their offense, considering how, I mean, you talk about peaks and valleys. That is exactly what this is. As you astutely pointed out, you take on the worst defense in the NFL. All right, Fields can drop 244 yards through the air, and you can score, 39 points or whatever it is. And then you get to some of these other contests against some better competition, Cleveland, the Broncos, and we're talking about barely scratching the surface of 50 yards through the air. The Patriots are not anywhere near the level of defense that those two units are, Cleveland and Denver. But, they're a good group. They're floating around 17th, depending on what pass metric you use. Maybe a little bit better than that. I think you can get a little bit more out of Fields on a short week, potentially. We've seen the ability. But how are you going to trust, considering how bad this has been?
The pass attempts at 27.5 for Justin Fields. The yards, 132.5. That thing keeps coming down. Passing touchdowns, just over a half a touchdown. Usually when we see this market, it's over 1.5. It is minus 129 to the over in that spot. He is going to be without Garrett Wilson today, who's been the top pass catcher.
But
what?
A.D. Mitchell is going to be there.
So this is what I was going to say. I know that the passing game has been inept.
Oh, here we go.
But if, to your point, they are a little bit better, who would be the beneficiary of that this week without Garrett Wilson here? So you've got Adonai Mitchell, who you mentioned, Arian Smith, Tyler Johnson. Their second leading pass catcher for the Jets this season has actually been their tight end, Mason Taylor. Third is Breece Hall. So is there someone we should be looking at an over on, or is it just unders across the board in the pass game for you?
I mean, I don't know if I say under across the board, because obviously everything we're talking about is probably factored into this overall. I mean, I would say that potentially, A.D. Mitchell, as we know in his time with Indianapolis, can be a very explosive receiver. His average depth of target for the year with Indianapolis was 17.5 yards downfield. So, when you're targeting him, you're going for some pretty big plays. So if that's the case, I mean, do they not have one long shot in there wrapped up for A.D. Mitchell? Longest reception and or longest completion for Justin Fields? I would assume that you could probably get A.D. Mitchell. He's a good player, man. He gets himself open. I think that he is a dude that can make this passing offense better if Fields is willing to find him.
It's 9.5 longest reception
for A.D. Mitchell.
For A.D. Mitchell.
I mean, if you hold up, again, this is in a different offense, so take that for what it's worth. But for a guy whose average depth of target throughout the year was 17.5 yards downfield, his rookie season was floating around 14 yards. He is a deep ball threat. He's an explosive player. Obviously, you can get that in one reception if we're talking about longest reception for A.D. Mitchell.
Okay.
That, to me, is a number that is really weighed down by, obviously, what we know about this passing offense, but also, I would assume, the new factor of, does he even know the offense? How comfortable is he?
The best weapon recently for the Jets has been Breece Hall. Against the Bengals 2 weeks ago, rushed for 133 and 2 touchdowns while also throwing the game-winning score. Last Sunday, 83 rush yards, took a screen pass 42 yards to the house for the go-ahead touchdown. He is accounted for in that game 74% of the Jets' 169 net yards. He has been the key. The rushing yards prop for him today actually bet down from 59.5 to 56.5 because for all of what you talk about with the Patriots pass defense, they are the best rushing defense in the National Football League, giving up just 79.2 yards per game on the ground, have not allowed a single back to cross the 50-yard mark this season. Is Breece Hall the first to do it? Again, that prop currently sitting at 56.5.
That's a good stat. Really, I didn't realize that for New England's defense.
No. NFL.com hit me with that one.
Nice. That's a good one. I'll say, I mean, he's going to get the workload, is he not? Unless, again, we always talk about this, the game script, that they're immediately trailing and then get into a big hole. You know, what's that going to look like for Breece Hall? Does it turn into receptions as opposed to targets? Or excuse me, in terms of receptions as opposed to rushing attempts? And maybe is that the way to play it? Like if you're playing against this defense that is so good at stopping the run, but you still need to get your best athlete out in space, is this hey, let's see if we can ratchet up the receptions for Breece Hall. Let's see if we can get the ball in his hands and do the Andy Reid thing, which is, we don't really run the ball like straight at you. We just supplement our rushing attack with a bunch of these completions behind the line of scrimmage.
The receptions prop for Hall set at 2.5. It is even money to the over. Yeah. He had one, as I mentioned, the long running score last week, but 2 the 2 weeks prior, and looks like 2 or more in every game but 2 this year. So he has hit that number pretty often.
And if they're trailing, I mean, one would assume you're going to be dropping back more and trying to do something. But like if they're as good as their numbers indicate, you got to get Breece Hall some action in some way.
How about on the Patriots side? So the rookie back, Travion Henderson, filling in for Ramondre Stevenson at 147 and 2 touchdowns against the Bucs. We backing him to keep it going? Or obviously Steph Diggs has done well in the touchdown world the last few weeks. Mac Hollins had a big week against the Bucs. Anybody on their side that you're angling toward?
Do you believe Mike Vrabel?
In that?
I mean, he said that Henderson was going to get a huge load this weekend. What is it? What is a huge load? Like, will he go over 16.5 and will he be able to get over 80 yards? I mean, we've seen the explosiveness from him. And one of the things that sticks out, I mean, you look at this Jets team defensively, open field yards per carry allowed, they're 20th. They're a little bit better at second level yards per carry allowed, but you do wonder if maybe you can generate some explosives. Henderson does have the ability to do it for sure. But it does seem like the Patriots are really steering into Henderson being the guy moving forward.
The rush yards prop 75.5. His rushing attempts 15.5. That is juiced to the over though, minus 133. Where is the longest rush? Oh, there we go. Longest rush 16.5 as well. So take that for what it is. One thing I was looking at was actually a defensive prop.
Here we go.
How about Will McDonald, Jets defensive end, had 4 sacks against the Browns, 5 in the last 2 games.
Okay.
He is plus 118 today to have over a quarter of a sack. And when you look at Drake May's numbers, he trails only Cam Ward for the most sacks taken this season with 35. 3 games this year with at least 5, which includes 2 of the last 3 games. And then personnel-wise, you would imagine he'd see plenty of that rookie left tackle Will Campbell, who, yes, has played well lately, but has had some ups and downs. What do we think?
I think that's a great case. I'm down.
You're supposed to be my defensive prop guy. Whatever happened to the tackles and sack numbers? That just went away.
It did.
I expected more for you in reaction for this. I do have,
but I was, okay, so before you start getting after me, I was actually going to give you some stuff that would be good for your cause here, but now I don't want to give them.
Oh, come on. Help a girl out.
Of the quarterbacks so far this year, we'll call them qualified quarterbacks. Percentage of dropbacks with some responsibility in terms of pressures allowed. Drake May is 4th in the NFL, which is not good. So essentially 22.6% of the pressures that the Patriots have allowed, he is responsible for. So you're either holding onto the ball too long, you're allowing the pressure to come to you, those sort of things. So if you like that, then I would assume that that is going to help you out as well, because May is a quarterback that tends to allow the pressure to come in. Number 1, Jackson Dart. Number 2, I'm saying number 1, number 2, the most. So this is technically flipped. This should be like 32nd or whatever. But the most, Jackson Dart, highest percentage, 41%. Lamar Jackson, 28. Mahomes, 25. Drake May, 22.6.
Methinks I like it.
There you go. You were waiting for me to use that line yesterday, so now you finally got it in.
I'm just saying, you had a missed opportunity yesterday to use the phrase "methinks," and you didn't do it. So that's what I'm here for. The Jets special teams obviously took off last week. We mentioned it earlier in hour one. 2 returns for touchdowns last week. The 99-yard kick return by Kane Wongu. Wongu? Is that how you say it? Wongu.
Okay.
I looked at the pronunciation guide.
Really
and we had a 74-yard punt return from Isaiah Williams.
Yeah,
that one I got. Nick Folk also has not missed a kick this season, 19 of 19. This is another question I was going to follow up with. I was looking at the kicking props. 2+ field goals for Folk, plus 105. 6+ kicking points, minus 114. Can the offense get them in a position probably more to kick field goals than touchdowns to where we can get to this number? He's had 6+ points in every game this season, but 1.
Yeah.
So that was an angle I was looking at today. He's just been so accurate. Can they get him in a position to kick?
I mean, I think they might be able to. It just depends too on like if you're a team like the Jets where you're so desperate to try to get out of this hole, you only got 2 wins. How often are some of those kicking downs going to turn into go for it downs?
Yeah.
But I think you're going to have the ability to do it.
I dug in a little deeper today than I expected.
I mean, you
in the
had
prop
to.
market. What are you supposed to do?
Well.
We had 12.5 points. When I teased this game prior to the segment, I was like, got a big game on Thursday Night Football. As soon as we got off the air, it was like, by big game, I guess I meant big spread.
I mean, this is classic one of those. I think Gil brings this up all the time. If this was a Sunday, would you care? If this game was buried amongst the many?
It would not make TV 7.
No, not. No. If we had 8 games in our morning window and we only have 7 screens, as you're alluding to, that would definitely not be one that you would waste a screen on.
All right, you hear that music. That means we got to step aside here. When we come back, stepping into our contest corner, looking at some of the ATS options for Week 11 in the NFL. I don't think we'll be using the Thursday night contest among the 5. We'll be right back.
Maybe.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
ProfitX is changing the game for sports bettors. You can get a 20% deposit match up to $100 on your first purchase right now, plus 0% commission on player props and 1% on everything else. Every $50 you wager on parlays in November also earns you an entry to win a $500 restaurant gift card of your choice with drawings each and every Tuesday. Real markets, real prizes, no house edge. Download ProfitX now and use the promo code VSiN to get started. Again, that's ProfitX, code VSIN, to get those discounts. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you live in downtown Las Vegas at Circa Resort and Casino. Did just get some breaking news in the college football world. Baylor Athletic Director Mack Rhoades will be taking a leave of absence for his duties with the Bears for personal reasons. Rhoades was, of course, I'm sure you've seen on a lot of the selection committee rankings reveals. He is the college football playoff selection committee chairman. He has now decided to step down from that role as well. In a statement from Baylor Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics Mark Rhoades is on leave of absence for personal reasons. The university declines to comment further at this time. And this comes in response to an incident back in September, I believe was when this took place, where he was reportedly under investigation for a pair of interactions with tight end Michael Trigg and an unnamed Bears assistant after their home loss to ASU. I don't know many more details that came out after that, but clearly significant enough that he has been under investigation and now taking a leave of absence.
Well, here's the thing. According to this ESPN article, it's not because of that. It's different allegations. And they just keep referring to them as allegations. So I don't know what exactly is going on here, if whether or not
then
it is.
That's my fault for being speculatory. I assumed it was based on that.
Because you're right. Because here, the graph from the article, Baylor told ESPN's Adam Rittenberg the university received allegations involving Rhoades on Monday. The allegations do not involve Title IX, student welfare, or NCAA rules, and do not involve the football program, indicating it is a separate incident from Rhoades' alleged altercation with a football player during a September game.
Interesting.
So, doors wide open for whatever this is. But either
I'm
way,
so curious now. I've got my journalism hat on. I'm like, I need to dig. I need to know.
We need to find out.
I'm going to send some texts.
I was going to say, you're connected in the Big 12.
See what I can do. Baylor, interesting game this weekend against Utah, by the way.
I mean, you've got some feelers out there. Let's go.
I have Utah contacts. I haven't done a Baylor game in a minute.
Start texting.
See what I can do.
Yeah.
What do you think about that game, though, this weekend?
Which one?
The Utah-Baylor game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, you mentioned 2. I don't know. I mean, I think
I'll
did we mention this yesterday?
Lake, see what I can do.
No, we talked about this yesterday, right? The Utah team total aspect of going up against Baylor and being able to perform like that. I would assume this doesn't really do anything for Baylor from like are they distracted standpoint, which people might be bringing up. But that to me is you look at Baylor defensively, and I think Utah can move the ball. I think that was one, as we discussed yesterday a little bit more at length, asking Utah to have offensive success as opposed to maybe covering a number is something that I would be looking into.
The run game in particular for Utah, I think, has some potential to cook. The reason that I wanted to stay away from the spread, to your point, like Sawyer Robertson has potential to do damage as well on the other end. So I don't know what that looks like, but obviously a huge game for Utah in particular if they want to have any chance of climbing in the college football playoff selection committee rankings. Didn't expect that to be my transition as well, but that obviously is important. They're currently sitting at 13, and based on the way things are poised to shake out in the Big 12, an at-large might be their only shot, but is that possible? I don't know. I think they would really have to pass the eye test and win at margin down the stretch. We have seen this number come down, by the way. Utah was, I think, as high as -9. They were 8.5 point favorites when we were on the air yesterday. Currently sitting 7.5, total 59.5. Okay, let's look at some NFL contest lines for Circa that came out today. And these are the static lines for the contest that are going to hold true through the weekend, even if there's any line movement, which there inevitably will be on a handful of these games by the time we get to Sunday. These will stand pat. So maybe we can find some perceived value in some spot. But a lot of times also these numbers give you an indication as to where at least the odds makers here at Circa think a number is going to land by the time we get to Sunday. Any games you for sure want on the card this week?
I mean, Broncos.
I think we're in line on that one.
Yeah, you're not getting 4, you're getting 3.5. So as you pointed out, maybe a belief here that you're going to be able to, or you're going to see, I should say, some movement toward Denver that's going to get it to 3.5 by the time we get to Sunday. But yeah, it seems like a very big number as we're discussing here. Chiefs on the road. Again, there's not that much of a difference, I think, between a lot of these AFC teams, even with the struggles of one Bo Nix. I still think that asking this Chiefs team that has looked flawed in its own right to go out there and cover a key number like that against arguably the best defense, again, depending on what metric you use in the National Football League, I'd be willing to take a shot with Bo Nix, even though I am not a big fan.
Okay. I like that as a teaser leg more than I do a side, but that is the way that I lean. I wish it was
tease those fours up, though, man. You're going to lose out on the 10.
I already did it.
Oh, okay, right.
This isn't amateur hour, JVT.
Apologies. Yeah, you're right. Talk about the teaser queen here.
In the account this morning.
Yeah.
I do wish for these purposes that we were getting that little extra hook, but you still over the key number, I think, is good. I like the 4 better. But with that in mind, as we go through here, can I tempt you in the Lions plus 2.5 in Philadelphia? No interest?
Considering I have the Eagles minus 2.5 as part of the best bets added today.
So we're going to scratch that game off the card.
I mean, you could use it.
We don't need to have a debate over a game that we're on opposite sides of. Let's pick one that we're like-minded.
It'll just be all your fault. That's the
Chargers out to 3 against the Jags.
Is that you think that's too much? Chargers out to 3?
No.
You like the Jags?
No.
Oh, well, wait. What's the play here?
I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Because I think it's actually Jacksonville.
I'm just giving you a statement.
I would take Jacksonville here.
Okay.
I think that is worth considering. If we're going to go back and forth, then I might as well submit. Do we want to get up bright and early on Sunday?
We will be awake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll be on a plane back.
Like, not by choice in my case.
Right, of course. You want to sweat out a little Dolphins minus 2.5 out there in Madrid?
Sure.
All right, there we go. Dolphins minus 2.5.
Okay, Dolphins minus 2.5. I like that.
Against the Commanders. I like that. Obviously, you're getting that 2.5 instead of the 3. Commanders are in a pretty, I mean, we've talked about this, how bad this has looked. And Miami, at the very least, think still capable enough to take advantage of what Washington's selling here. So, yeah, let's go Dolphins minus 2.5. So I've got 2 on the board
like
here.
Seahawks plus 3. I know you like that already.
I do, but I don't like, if you don't have a feeling on that game, I don't feel strong enough to like plant my flag.
Both of those NFC West games I think are a little annoying. I do like the 49ers, but being on the road kind of took me off of it a little bit. If you liked it, maybe we could get down on it, but both those NFC West games I think could be weird. The Ravens minus 7.5 against the Browns. Now that Lamar's knees feeling better?
I mean, feel better as a teaser leg. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
What about another short. I mean, these are the traps. This is the trap you fall into, but it's not so much the number as it is, I think, the matchup. Last week, played against Chicago. Do it one more time. Vikings -2.5 against the Bears. I think Chicago is clearly a very flawed team. They should have gotten pummeled last week.
Yeah, I was going to say they've gotten lucky,
yes.
I feel like, in a lot of areas.
I mean, Jackson Dart goes down. They're down 17-7. You know, Ben Johnson runs into the locker room. We had him right where we wanted him. Like, no, Jackson Dart just got hurt, and you're playing in a coach that was then eventually fired. But I think the Vikings, we've discussed it. They were not really that close to the Baltimore Ravens last week. J.J. McCarthy, every time he drops back, is just chucking YOLO balls. But playing again for a second straight week at home against the Bears defense that doesn't really rush the passer. I think McCarthy's going to be able to kind of stand back there and be able to operate this offense. It's a much better situation as a short favorite at home against Chicago, I think. And I think the Vikings will be live there.
What about the Monday night game?
I don't like where my head's at there.
Do you like the Raiders? Because I will not do that. Okay.
Why not? Come on, you catch a 3.5 at home. You're taking on one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I mean, the Cowboys stink. You know who else stinks? The Raiders. Not Brock Bowers.
That's true. Well, then bet Brock Bowers props. Don't bet the Raiders.
I don't know. I think
we're going to come back to this. You're gonna play this clip, I'm sure, next week on Monday night.
I'm kicking myself for not pulling you. Of course, stating with fact, yelling at me about Davis Mills' inability to lead a comeback.
I don't know. I was so distracted about all of your talk about his neck length that it was hard for me to make a decision on the game eloquently. How about the Panthers +3.5 at the Falcons?
You can have that if you want it. They're dead to me. You can after last week. There's probably somebody out there that's screaming like the metrics say that. I trust me. There probably is. The Falcons themselves have not looked particularly great. The offense, despite the fact they have some high-end talent, has been all over. Watching that performance this last weekend has left such a disgusting taste in my mouth.
Okay. Did shut him out 30-0 in the earlier season meeting.
You grinded the film on that one.
I know you didn't like it. Their pass rush was able to trip up Michael Penix. And Michael Penix apparently doesn't have any help on the sideline.
Titans +6.5.
That soundbite, I think that he just didn't understand the question. Maybe, or he was talking about personal life, maybe outside of the building.
I would think
that was getting blown up on social media a little bit more than it should have been.
What about your Steelers?
Titans +6.5. My Steelers, that's come down, right? They were, I think, 6.5 on the look ahead. My beloved Steelers get revenge for the Thursday night Icy Hot Bowl.
Again, remember, they were laying 5.5 in Cincinnati. Now here they are just laying 5.5 at home.
That Bengals defense is bad, man. Maybe this is the get-right spot Aaron Rodgers needs.
Let's do it.
I like the Steelers.
Want to do it?
I'll put that as a tentative. We can cement these at the end of the hour. So we for sure have Dolphins, Broncos, Vikings, questionable on the Steelers, and then you're saying questionable on the Titans?
Or the Raiders.
I'm not doing the Raiders.
Two great teams that we have to decide between.
One I'm going to put the kibosh on. The Giants interim coach bump. Okay, we'll have those selections a little bit later. When we come back, Jeff Erickson of RotoWire going to talk some more props with us for Thursday night and beyond.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are back on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Thursday edition of Money Moves. Going to talk some props here with our main man, Jeff Erickson, who joins us on the Progressive guest line. Whoa, is that explosion new? That was amazing. Jeff Erickson, RotoWire senior editor. You can follow him on X at Jeff_Erickson. I'm not crazy, right, Jeff? That looked cool.
That was amazing. Let's do that every time.
Yes. Like after every pick. Boom.
I think what's amazing is Jeff's new glasses. They look great.
Looking very
Oh, every once in a while I have to wear them instead of the contacts. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Let's get into Thursday night. Obviously, we're going to talk through a bunch of prop betting angles for the entirety of the Week 11 NFL slate. But starting with tonight, Patriots and Jets coming up. I know one name that was top of mind for you was Breece Hall. And it's really interesting because obviously he's had a ton of success the last couple of weeks. But now you face a Patriots defense that is so good against the run. How do you see it tonight?
I'm going to go with the side of the good defense here. The Patriots have allowed one 50-yard rusher all year. That was last week. It was Sean Tucker. We don't do bar bets on who's run for 50 yards against the Pats, but I think you could win money on that if you did. I don't think Breece Hall gets there. It's 56.5 for him is his rush prop. And I'll take the under on that one there. The game flow is going to work against them. I think they're going to be chasing the whole game. And I understand there's no other offense. I get that this is the only game in town, and I still don't think they're going to be able to run the ball well. I think they're going to do lots of little screens and things like that. That was like the only thing that really worked against the Browns last week. I think it's going to be a miserable night for the Jets offense again. And I hate it because I have Breece Hall in a couple fantasy leagues. Too good to bench, but not good enough to feel good about him.
That one, to that point, one of the things that I threw out there was like Breece Hall over receptions. We talked about that. Was it 1.5?
2.5.
2.5 for him. So, I mean, if they're in a negative game state, if they're doing all that, it sounds like you could have a pretty decent day in terms of targets.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, look at the rest of the receiving core. I'm wondering if A.D. Mitchell's going to play tonight. That might change things a little bit. But what did they attempt? Like 12 passes last week? I think the leading receiver with routes run was 10. So that kind of just tells you they're just not really trusting in that receiving room. Don't ask Aaron Glenn if Garrett Wilson's going to play. We don't want to get him angry. But at the same time, we already know he's out this week.
Don't ask him about injuries, and don't ask him who his quarterback is. Great. Love these media availabilities. They're super informative. Anything else that stands out to you for the game tonight? Obviously, it's a big spread in favor of the Patriots, who have looked so good recently, but they haven't been in this big of a favorites role in a long time. Anything game script-wise that stands out to you outside of the run game?
Well, I want to see what happens with Travion Henderson, obviously, after what happened last week. We finally had his big breakout there. 2 huge runs, almost a third. You know, in the first quarter, he had a run that just shoestring tackle. He could have taken that one to the house as well. He's got that capability at various points. I also like that he got goal line carries. So fantasy wise, he's very close to being a top 10 running back this week. I don't know if he's efficient at the goal line. I do worry about that. That prop on him is 77.5 yards. And he could hit that in 2 runs. We saw that. I just don't think he gets more than say 14, 15 carries. And that's the one thing that kind of, if I had to choose a side, I'd take the over, but it's not one I'm running the window to do.
All right. I have Jaylen Warren in my fantasy team. How am I going to fare this week?
No, you got to love it. It's Bengals week. It's kid to the candy store time here again. I'm a self-hating Bengals fan, so that has something to do with it there. But he went off against the Bengals in that Thursday night game. And what I like is they've really committed to him. They rushing and receiving. So you don't know which way he's going to get there. So I just go the rushing and receiving combined prop of 100.5. I also kind of like an anytime touchdown. RotoWire is doing a touchdown survivor pool that we're launching this week with Splash Sports. And you have to choose 2 people anybody who can score a touchdown. And I'm using Warren as one of my 2 guys this week. I'm going to use JSN as the other, but it's a cool little thing we're trying out there, a different angle of survivor. So trying that one out, but I think it should be fun. I think you're going to really like Jaylen Warren this week.
RotoWire senior analyst Jeff Erickson joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. I hate to do this to you, but anybody else that you might be targeting to have success against your Bengals defense this week?
Sure, why not? Pat Freiermuth every time torches the Bengals. Anytime touchdown for him is $2.15. Normally that's not a really good price for Pat Freiermuth, but it is Bengals week, and they like Bengals week. 7 tight end touchdowns the last 3 games for the Bengals. That's crazy. They 4 alone in that Steelers game where they almost did a touchdown for the cycle with all 4 of their tight ends. Hayward even got a end zone target in that game, but Smith, Washington, and Freiermuth all scored touchdowns in that first game.
All right, what else we got this weekend? Let's talk a little bit of the Miami Dolphins. They're going to be out in Madrid. I think they're in a pretty good spot here against Washington. I want to keep picking on the Commanders. Does that mean a big day for some of their skill guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Devon Achane is my number 1 ranked running back in my weekly rankings over at RotoWire. It's an article I call the Value Meter, and I also like it for props as well. One that is kind of sneaky is longest run. I mean, he's a home run hitter. He could break one at any moment. We saw it against the Bills. The Commanders are dying to give up big runs, chunk runs there. The longest rush is the line for Achane is 19.5 yards over at DraftKings. I'll take the over on that one. I'll take him to break a 20-plus yard run there. I think that's a good spot for Achane there. So I'll go that route there. But I happily use them in DFS if we were playing just even the morning, just the slate just for the Madrid game. I would even make him my captain. I think he's going to go off again.
Yeah, gone over that specific number in 4 of the last 5 games as well. He has been fun to watch in a team and season that has not been as fun to watch if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. One other game that I think is kind of interesting, Chargers-Jags, and JVT and I are a little bit on opposite sides of this one. He leans Jacksonville. I don't really see it. Chargers out to a 3-point favorite in this spot, and Justin Herbert could have some potential for success here. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. In the last 3 games, they've allowed 11 passing touchdowns. Herbert over 1.5 passing touchdowns seems readily attainable. I understand no Joe Alt is an issue. He does get hit like nobody's business there. Most hit quarterback in the NFL this year. And even still, he comes through despite these circumstances with no Slater, no Alt. I think the Jags are going to be competitive enough that the Chargers will have to throw. So I like Herbert getting 2 or more passing touchdowns there. The only thing that might take it away from us is if he scrambles so well, he gets a rushing touchdown. That's the one thing that could kind of pull us away from that there. But I do like the Herbert prop.
All right, what about the big one in the AFC West between the Broncos and the Chiefs? Sidewise, I'm curious your thoughts, but also if there's any player props worth looking at here.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this game. I wish we could have gotten one of the 2 marquee games in the afternoon at different times, so we didn't, we could keep this just solo eye on this game here. I went on Monday with Dustin actually and said I like the Broncos, and I've gone full circle on this. I actually like the Chiefs now at the -3.5. I think I like that angle on that one there. I think Bo Nix is just going to struggle all day long against this Chiefs defense. Chiefs have really been good at limiting wide receivers lately. Last 4 games, around 50 yards per game. No one's gotten over 50 yards in a given game. Remember, they shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown in that Sunday night game. I like the under 49.5 yards for Cortland Sutton and receiving yards in this game. Plenty of other ways to fade Bo Nix if you can as well. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for him in this one. Initially when I set my line, I set it as Chiefs -1, -2, and I was surprised at the line. And now I've actually come full circle. And if I had to bet this game, I'd bet the Chiefs.
How much, if at all, comes down to for the Chiefs, this is their season in a lot of ways. If they lose this game, they're going to be 3.5 back behind the Broncos. They really need this one.
Absolutely right. I think that matters a lot. I think no Surtain, at least most likely no Surtain in this game, no Alex Singleton in this game, no J.K. Dobbins in this game. These are all things that kind of point in the favor of the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to be as healthy as they've been, with the exception of Pacheco. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to play. So we talked about Breece Hall earlier. Too bad they didn't trade for Breece Hall. I would have really liked that fit in KC for him. But this is a fun matchup. I'm really excited about this game, and I'm really excited about Rams Seahawks at the same time.
You alive in Survivor?
I am not in Circa. I've got one pool left where I'm still alive, where I kind of did things a little bit differently. But I got nailed by Atlanta against Miami. Shame on me. I should know better never to trust Atlanta. They're like the East Coast version of Arizona. Just never trust them.
They've been a killer a couple of times this season. Jeff, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate you. My pleasure. Take care. Jeff Erickson, check out all the work over there at RotoWire, as well as SiriusXM Fantasy Channel 87. Yeah, that Chiefs Broncos game is going to be very heavily bet this weekend. Of course. I mean, and a lot of different opinions as well. Yeah, I think the same thing for the Seahawks and Rams. That window in the afternoon, the 4 games are those two, the 49ers and Cardinals, and Ravens Browns. It's a very interesting afternoon. It should hopefully be better than last week's afternoon window. Blowout galore. Yes, which had 3 40-point performances, and all 3 were blowouts. Well, so this is what's cool, though. Specifically, the Seahawks and Rams game. I told you, I remember looking up at the television screen, and it was a combined 56-0 with the Rams and Seahawks against their respective opponents in the first halves of those games. Now they're playing each other this week. That game's going to be awesome. Hopefully it's awesome. And I think it's got the makings. I feel good about it. As do I, considering the market's at 3. All right. On that note, you hear the music. We got to stop yapping. When we come back, we are going to close this thing out. Our best bets. This is my last time talking to y'all ahead of the weekend. So what I'm looking at in college football and the NFL. Yeah, you still got him tomorrow. I just thought you were abandoning the show. We'll be right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you haven't come join us here at VSiN on a regular basis, you're missing out. For just $120 right now, you can get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do here at the network through May 1st. It's less than $20 a month for every edge, every sport, each and every day. That includes the daily best bets from all of our show hosts and guests. You get live betting splits from DraftKings, Circa, and Bronco, AI-powered prop projections and matchup tools, 24/7 video and replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus full coverage of all things football, hoops, hockey, March Madness. The draft will even be here before you know it. Don't miss your chance to lock in this special rate. Sign up now at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Time to recap the bets from last night. Look ahead to what we're adding to the account today. Last night for me, 1-1. I couldn't remember if I made the Connor Bedard play official, so I just added it, took the L, unfortunately. He did have a goal last night, but the assist, unfortunately, didn't come through for him at -115. It was, man, I was waiting too. And remember how I talked about, you could potentially do a point parlay with Bedard and Bertuzzi?
Absolutely remember it.
Bertuzzi was the assist maker on Bedard's goal, so I got a little hosed on that one. I'm mad at myself. I didn't play it. Oilers money line did come through in overtime, -127. They win against the Philadelphia Flyers. So 1-1 for me last night. How'd you make out?
1-2. So we got the shot attempts from Sam Merrill, but he decided to go 1 for 8, I believe, from beyond the arc last night. So did not get there for the three-pointers, and Suns Mavericks ended up going over. How about the Celtics last night? I think it was 131-95. Absolutely blew out the Grizzlies. Grizzlies aren't good. I think that's a fair statement to make. So 1-2 in the hoops last night. Hopefully today goes a little bit better.
So looking to tonight, Thursday night football, Jets Patriots. This isn't going to be an official bet for me. Like, this is just a fun one for anybody who just wants to get a little bit weird and roll with me on Will McDonald to have over a quarter sack today. I think it's a fun one to put in the account, plus money, +118. It's the Jets defensive end, by the way. I mentioned this earlier. He had 4 sacks this past game against the Browns, 5 his last 2. Drake May is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the National Football League. 35 on the year, second only to Cam Ward. 3 games this year where he's taken at least 5. And I think McDonald's matchup specifically up front against the Patriots rookie left tackle could lead for a little bit of success today. And it is only a quarter sack, so a half a sack gets you there at a plus money price. I think is kind of fun.
And to add to your case, as I am a good partner, the fourth highest percentage of dropbacks with some responsibility for the pressures that have been allowed. That is Drake May. Only 3 quarterbacks ahead of him: Jackson Dart, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes.
Beautiful. Let's go officially official here, and we can kind of ping pong back and forth. Let's start in the NFL. So far, I only have a pair of teasers that are in the account. Broncos are the base leg in both of them, +10 against Kansas City. And then in one, I'm pairing it with the Ravens, bringing the 7.5 down to 1.5 in Cleveland, taking on the on the Browns.
Just say it, I nailed it. Yeah, Broncos base leg, get them up to 10.
Yeah. And then the Lions,
like a book,
up from 2.5 to 8.5 in Philadelphia on Sunday night.
All right, let's see. I only have 2 NFL plays, so I'll rattle them off real quick. Eagles -2.5, and Packers tease down, as are the Ravens on a 6-point teaser. So Packers -1 against the Giants, Ravens -1.5 against the Browns. Figure that'll be a popular teaser.
And you're on the Eagles -2.5. So for that one teaser, I'm going to be like, we're rooting for a middle, I think, for the two of us.
I'm rooting for the Eagles to blow them out. Why would I want to sweat that out at all?
You're the worst. Come on, just be a good teammate. We're just going to have fun together. It'll be great.
It'll be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
In college football, just to recap, at least for me as well, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow for all of the plays going into the weekend. We made official Notre Dame. We're laying it -11.5 against Pitt. I think CJ Carr has grown up fast before our eyes this season, and he's going to put this offense to work against a pretty inconsistent, high variance Pitt defense, a defense that has a lot of injury questions this week as well. I think Notre Dame team total could also be an angle. It's just a little bit too high, despite Pat Narduzzi telling us he doesn't care if Notre Dame scores 100. So laying the 11.5 there. I also contemplated SDSU yesterday, officially making it an ad, -2.5 against Boise State. And then a couple new things here for you. Iowa USC under 49.5. It's going to be 63 degrees and rainy in what is usually sunny Los Angeles. Iowa, we talked about this a lot yesterday in West Coast Bias. I think going to slow it down, run the ball, plays hard physical defense as well. So for a USC team that's not great against the run as well, 61st, giving up 140 yards on the ground per game, I think that the possessions might be a little bit more limited for USC in terms of the total numbers. I do like USC to win the game. I even lean -6.5 with them as well. I think there's potential for maybe a little emotional exhaustion for Iowa coming off of last week's game against Oregon, but the under ultimately was what I ended up playing here. And then a couple bets on Ole Miss. I do not like the looks of this Florida team right now. And I know this number peaked at 15.5. It's back down to 14. And I do feel much more comfortable with that number with Ole Miss, as well as their team total over 33.5. Gators got the interim bump in the cocktail party, put everything they had into that game. And then it all came crashing down this past weekend at Kentucky. DJ Lagway benched at halftime, went 11-19, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. His 12 interceptions are the most of any quarterback in FBS. Tramel Jones steps in, wasn't a whole lot better. The injury report for the Gators also not good. Dallas Wilson and Eugene Wilson, who have combined for 6 of the wide receiver room's 9 touchdowns this year, both done with season-ending injuries. Florida's defense god awful against Kentucky, scored just 14. Kentucky, who scored just 14 points or fewer in 4 of their last 5 games prior to that game, put up 38. And I think Ole Miss is significantly better offensively than Kentucky. Trinidad Chambliss should go to work. I like a lot of Ole Miss.
Okay. Very good.
Sorry, I got to take a breath now. Your turn.
That was good. All right, I'll rattle through mine really quick. We'll start in the NBA. Cavaliers, team total over 123.5 tonight. Cavs have been on a 5-game run to get over their team total so far since they've been healthy, and I thought it was going to end yesterday. Did not. They got over it again with 130 points. And the Jazz, money line, plus 120 tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. Very good situational spot for the Jazz, taking on the Hawks team. Second leg of a back-to-back, third game of 4 nights, all on the road. So 2 NBA plays there. In college football, we'll make it official. Colorado State plus 14.5. And then San Diego State minus 2.5,
You're wild,
minus
man.
115.
They're so bad.
They are very bad.
I hope you win this. I'm rooting for you, but
hey,
God.
I will say, so we went back and looked about how I've been doing in the Mountain West. I also went back and looked 2 games involving Colorado State. And if we include the win total, there's 3 bets that have been made involving Colorado State. We're 3-0. So you got a good read. And got a good read on this Colorado State team.
We got to give our guy JVT here some credit on the Mountain West. 10-5 with your bets that involve Mountain West teams. You've been really dialed onto that league this year.
And
You've
I'm
been
sure
doing well.
That'll blow up here today. And then San Diego State minus 2.5, minus 115. And then the NFL, as we mentioned really quickly, Eagles minus 2.5. And then that Packers Ravens teaser. And I'll have more tomorrow when I'm here, but that rounds out what I've added today.
Okay. Can I air a grievance here really quickly?
We should, by the way, that's a quick aside.
What?
One of my favorite things, even though I never watched the show, is Festivus and the airing of grievances. So we should plan an airing of grievances coming up around Festivus.
I like
for our
that.
audience and everything.
So this might be like a stupid thing, but I am very curious why people do this. And we talked about this earlier in a commercial break. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up now is why we take... Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we should take words.
Why don't we love each other like we should?
No.
Because we're all humans in the same rat race.
So this is very specific. We're talking about Giada and the chef, for anyone who doesn't know who that is.
I think a lot of our audience knows who she is.
And how she... Well, some people might not, okay? Trying to be inclusive
I'll just say that they probably don't know her for her cooking.
Okay, that's her. She's a very beautiful woman. But she also has this weird thing where she'll be speaking totally normal American English, and then the minute she says an Italian word, she gets deep in the Italian accent.
Sure.
Why does that happen?
I don't know.
Is that weird? Am I wrong? Should I really, every time I say an Italian word, hit it with a ricotta?
No. I mean, well, you've gone to Italy.
Spaghetti.
You are of.
Is that not weird though?
Are you not
talking
of the cloth? Are you not Italian?
I am Italian, but you can even tell by my name I'm very Americanized Italian because there's not a Y in the Italian alphabet.
You're not that American. Don't you make pasta at home?
I do. I like making
homemade
ravioli.
pasta. You make the noodles and stuff. Yeah,
it's really easy to do. It's just time intensive.
Okay. See? So
That's
I think it makes sense.
But am I crazy? Do you do that too when you speak Spanish?
No. Well, I mean, when I speak Spanish, I speak Spanish. Every word. Try to actually put the actual enunciation on it. But no, I think what you're saying is when there is a Spanish word in the middle of your sentence, will I hit it with the Latin flair? No, I will not.
It throws me off sometimes. I lose my train of thought for what's being said to me because I'm so dialed into the way a word was said. And it's the proper pronunciation, so I probably am wrong on this, but it throws me for a loop. I saw this thing the other day of Giada speaking, and she was like, oh yeah, I love making spaghetti for my family. And just what?
No.
Why?
It is not.
Say spaghetti like the rest of us.
That is very true. All right. You're off.
On that note, yes, I'm off to Provo.
Okay.
Gonna have some fun out there. TCU.
Do people have fun in Provo?
4.5. Of course they do.
Okay.
The one downside to night games in Provo at LaVell Edwards Stadium is that there is only a McDonald's and a Taco Bell that are open after the game, and they are packed.
Come on now.
So the only opportunity I have to eat late night is you're telling me McRib.
Yeah,
That's what has to happen. Saturday night.
Come on.
Saturday night.
I better get a text that night saying I tried it.
You want me to wait in that line for an hour for
Sure.
a McRib?
Yeah.
We'll see what I can do. All right. Fun show today. Appreciate you all. As always, JVT is going to be holding it down like he always does tomorrow by himself, which I appreciate. You're the man. For our producer, Justin Emery and JVT, I'm Stormy Buonantony. See you this weekend.